Hi, welcome to Remy Jane Fashion and Design. We are going to show you how we made this crop top and fitting skirt. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe and click the bell button to get notified when we post a new video. Let's get started. You will fold the material like this and measure the biggest part of the skirt, which is the hips, and the hips is 37 divided by 4. It is 9 1/4, but you're going to use 9 and add 1 inch seam allowance, which is going to be 10. For our hips is going to be 10 inches. Again, we will measure the length. The length of the skirt is 22, but we will add 1 inch, which is going to be our hemming. So the length of the skirt, it is going to be 23. And then we will measure from our starting point to 23 inches and then make dotted line. As you can see, now for our waist was 27 divided by 4, it's going to be 6, but you're going to use 7. So 7, add 1 inch dart allowance, add 1 inch seam allowance, so it's going to be 9 inch. And from the hips to the waist, it's 7 inches. When you measure from your waist to your hips, it's going to be 7 inch. Then you will mark it there. Then you will combine the line to the waist, to the point where the waist is. And this is how it should look like. Because this is our fitting skirt, we will remove a 1/2 inch. Then we will combine it all together till the point where it will reach. So this is how it's going to look like. Our skirt was 7. So 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. So we are going to measure 3.5 so that we can get where our dart is going to be. So this is a measurement of where our starting point of the dart will be. Again, the length of our dart will be 4 inches. So we will mark 4 inch and draw a line till the point it reach our waist. And our skirt is done. This is what you should have for your fitting skirt, and then you will cut it. Keep cutting it, only the dotted part, but do not cut the dart area. We will just put a notch for our guide when we are doing the dart. So for our front part, it is done. Now we are going to do the back part. The back part, we will just place the front part on top of the folded material, but we will leave 2 inch. But first, let's see this. Arrange it well until you're satisfied and measure. You will leave 2 inch. That 2 inch will be for zip allowance and for the slit allowance. Because this is a fitting skirt, we need the slit and the zip. This is what you should have. 2 inch from up to top, and then you will start marking. You will mark like this, and the part that we are marking is the part that we are going to cut it down. It's our guide so that when we cut, we will know where we are cutting. This is what you should have. And now we will start cutting for our back part of the skirt. Okay, when we are cutting, we will just put a knot. We will not cut the 2 inch that we've left. We will just cut it from the end, not from the middle. So the dot that we've put is just a guide so that we will know where our zip and our slits will be. So we will cut at the end, as you can see right now, but not in the middle. And our skirt is finished. This is what you should have. Now we are going to do our crop top blouse, and this is how you're going to measure it. First, you will fold your material into two, and our waist is 27 divided by 4. It is 6 3/4, but we are going to use 7. Our bust is 33 divided by 4. It is 8 1/4, but we are going to use 9. So after we arrange our material into two, this is how we are going to measure it. First, make sure there is no wrinkle. And for our bust, which I said we are going to use 8, we are going to add 1 inch, which is going to be our seam allowance. So we are supposed to have 9 inches. And for the length of the blouse, it is 17, but because on top we are using the lace, so we are going to minus 5 inches for the lace. And when we minus 5 inches, we are going to have 12 inches, but we need seam allowance or hemming, so we are going to use 13. 12 plus 1 is 13, and we are going to mark it to make sure it is 13 from the starting point to where 13 stops. And then we will make dotted lines. From our bust, it is 9 inches. Our bust, it was 8 plus 1 seam allowance, it is 9. And we are going to mark it there so that it can be our guide. We know where it ends. And for our waist, it is 7. We said we are going to use 7 plus 1, which is going to be 8. So our waist, it is going to be 8 inches for the seam allowance, which is 1 inch. And to measure our bust line, but before we measure our bust line, we have to make sure we've marked our bust area, which is 9 inches, and then we will measure our bust line. We will remove 4 inch from top, and then we will have 8 inch. 4 inches from where the lace will be. So after the lace, it is going to be there, our bust line is going to be 8 inch. So this is how you should do it, and mark that area. That will be our bust line. Now we need to do our armpits, where the armhole is going to be, but first we need to get our shoulder, which is 14 divided by 2, it is 7. So from our shoulder, we will make our line from the bust line to the shoulder point. And we will remove 1 inch from the bust line and make a line, and then we will make 2 inch. It's to create the curve for our armpit. So we will make a curve which connects to our armpit, and this is what you should have for your front part of the blouse. Now we are going to combine the dot area from down to where our bust line is, and we are going to cut our front part, which is done. This is how you're supposed to cut your top. You will cut the dotted area, but not all the dotted area. You will cut the armpit hole and the sides. and our arm and our front part is done. Now we will place it on a folding material to make our back part. And to make our back part is easy. We just put dotted line and then we will cut it. But I will let you see how you're going to do it. This is how you do it to make sure there is no wrinkle. Again, I repeat, your material should be flat. And then you make your dot and your back part will be done just like the front part. There's nothing to do here, no more measuring because you've already done that. So after that, we will just cut our material and it is done. This is how your end product should look like. Your front and your back part is now ready to be sewn. Now we are going to do our arm. Our arm is going to be the lace and the length of our arm is 24. So we are using 24 by 9. The wideness of the arm is going to be 9 inch. So we are going to mark 24, 24. As you can see, and confirm if everywhere it is 9. And for our wrist we have decided we will use 4 inch plus 1 seam allowance, so it's going to be 5. The width of the circumference of our wrist is 8 inch, divided by 2 it is 4, so plus 1 it is going to be 5. So for the part of our arm, it is going to be a long sleeve. It is done. We will just have to combine from top to the point where our wrist will be. But before that, because we've removed 4 inch there, we're also going to remove 4 inch from the side where we're going to connect with our arm. And this is how it should look like after we have removed 4 inch from that point to the other point. And this is how it should look like when you have already removed, and these are the parts you're supposed to cut. And now we will join it together like this, and for our long sleeve lace arm it is done. This is how your measurement and your arms should look like when you're doing it on your own, and then you will cut it. Oh, when you're cutting, I forgot to say the part which we've used for our wrist, that is because we want the design to be down there. That's why the design which is there on the wrist is just a guide. And when we are doing the second arm, we just place the other arm on top, and there's not much anything to do. We'll just cut. We'll just follow the way it goes and just cut. Keep cutting and be careful not to cut the front part. Now we are cutting the lace part. As we will just measure 5 inch on top, we will place the other part of the blouse, and we will measure 5 inch on top plus 1 inch seam allowance, so we're going to measure 6 inch. And for the neck is going to be round neck, so it is going to be 2.5 by 4 inches. So this is what you should have for your neck round of your crop lace top. And then you will combine it, and this is how it should look like. For our shoulders, it was 14 divided by 2, it is 7. So we are going to measure 7. And to get the slanting part of the shoulder, we are going to go down by a half, and we are going to combine it to the point where our neck will start to get the slanting part of the shoulder. And we are going to mark a line there, and this is our front part, and it is done. As easy as that. Now this is how you will cut only the lace, because we are going to attach it with the other material. You will cut the marked area for the front part of the lace. Make sure you don't cut the other material. And this is how your front part of the lace should be. Now we are going to cut the back part of the lace. We just place the front part of the lace on top of a folded lace, folded in two. And make sure it is straight and the material is not folded anywhere or excess. It should be equal to make sure it is on the same pattern. And you will just mark it there, and it is done. Just as easy as that. But now you will measure your back neck, which is going to be 3 by 2.5, and you will cut it like this. And now after cutting this, we'll just take it to the machine and sew it. I don't know if you guys know how to sew it. This was just a tutorial on how to cut your material. If in case you don't know how to sew, please leave your comments and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.